Hi, my name is Mimi, and today I'm gonna to read a book called Machine, Then and Now. Discover for Author Read and Discover. Introduction. Machines make our lives easier. We use them to do work, to travel, to communicate, and to have fun. Some machines are simple, like complex, with many parts that work together. What are the machines below called? What do we do with these machines? Which of these machines do you see? What other machine do you use? Ooh. The first machines. People invented the first machine a long time ago. There were simple tools made of stone, wood, or bone. About 2 million years ago, people made stone axes with wooden handles, and they used these tools to cut wood. People also used stone and animal bone to make knives and arrows. To shoot their arrow, they used bones made with long pieces of wood. People used simple levers to more heavy objects like rocks. They put one edge of the long stick of wood under a big rock, and they put a small rock under the stick. When they pushed on the other end of the stick, the big rock moved. About 7,000 years ago, people started farming for food. They invented new machines like plows and used animals to make work easier. Some farmers used long levers to get water from rivers. They also built canals to get water from their ponds. About 5,000 years ago, people started making metal tools. These tools were better than stone or bone tools. Around and around. The wheel is on the most important invention in history. About 5,500 years ago, potters used the first wheel to make clay pots. They used wet clay on the wooden wheels. Then they can turn the wheel to make a nice round pot. Before people had wheels to move more heavy objects, they used rollers. The rollers were made from tree trunks. When people made cars of chariots with wooden wheels, they connected the wheel with a long bar called an axle. Today there are a lot of machines with wheels. They can see wheels on cars, bicycles, and skateboards. They can also see wheelchairs for people who can't walk or easy. You can think of more machines that have wheels. The London Eye is a very big wheel. It's 135 meters high. You can have a great view on London from the top. Ramps and cranes. Ramps useful because they help us lift objects more easier. More than 5,000 years ago, ancient Egyptians used a ram to build a pyramid. A great pyramid at Giza is the biggest pyramid in the world. It's 138 meters high. The Egyptians used rollers to move large blocks of stone up the ramps. They needed lots of workers because the blocks are very heavy. About 2,500 years ago, the ancient Greeks used big cranes to build temples. The cranes were made of wood and they had many ropes, the little wheel called pulleys. First, the workers tied the rope to the block of stone. Then they put the rope around the pulley. They pulled the rope and lift the block. The worker was easier with crane, so the Greek didn't need as many workers as the Egyptian. We use crane today to lift a very heavy object. The biggest type of crane is the gantry crane. Water and wind. Some machines use energy from nature. Water mills use energy from floating water. Thousands of years ago, people built water mills next to the river. They used the water mill to make flour from grain. Then they used the flour to make bread and cakes. Water mills have big wheels on the outside, and the river turned the wheel. Then the wheel turned on the axle inside the water mill. The axle turns around the millstone that breaks the grain into flour. Windmills use energy from wind. Hundreds of years ago, people started using windmills to make flour. Windmills have a long arm with big sail. The wind pushes the sail and turns the arms. Inside the mill, the axes turn the millstone. Windmills are useful in places that don't have big rivers, but they only work when it's windy. Today we use windmills to make electricity. Modern windmills are called wind turbines. Telling the time. In the past, people told the time many ways. Thousands of years ago, people used sundials. Sundials has a pointer that made a shadow to tell the time. And sundial only worked on the sunny days. Some people use cold water clocks. Simple water clock had two pots. Water flowed from the top pot to the bottom pot to tell the time. Later, people used sand clocks. These clocks have two glass bubbles with sand inside them. About 2,000 years ago, people invented mechanical clock with metal gears. Some mechanical clock have pendulum to move the part. Others have metal springs. Today, many clocks are digital. They show the time with only numbers. Digital clock works with electricity. They usually have electricity cards or batteries. Computer and cell phone have digital clocks, and many people wear digital watches. Engines and energies. For thousands of years, people used animals to do work. Then inventors built steam engines. The engines heated water to make the steam. The energy from the steam made other machines work. The first steam energy usually used food like wood, coal, or oil. People use steam energy engines to power vehicles like train, boat, and many factories use steam energy to power their machine. This was the beginning of modern industry. The people invented new machines that would use fuel or oil, gasoline, and diesel. Now we use these engines for vehicles like cars, buses, planes, or helicopters. They can carry enough fuel to travel long distance. Today, most vehicles use gasoline or diesel as fuel. Some vehicles use biodiesel made from plant material. There are also electric cars that use energy from batteries. Some vehicles like bicycles use human energy. Electric cars are good for the environment. They don't produce smoke or pollution. Flying machine. Today we can fly all over the world, but 200 years ago, plane didn't exist. Some people flew the hot air balloon. These balloons had no engine, so they were slow and hard to control. Later, people invented airships. They had engine and propellers, so they faster and easier to control. In 1903, Wilbur and Orville Wright invented the first plane. It was made of wood and carried one person. The first flight only lasts for 12 seconds. 4 years later, a French inventor named Paul Combe flew one of the first helicopters. He stayed in the air for about 20 seconds. Today, there are many types of planes. Some planes have propellers and others have jet engines. Some planes carry freight and other carry passengers. Some modern planes carry more than 850 passengers. Helicopters are very useful. They can transport food and medicine to emergencies so they can rescue people to take them to hospital. The Jen H4 is the smallest helicopter in the world. It carries one person. Communication. For a long time, people sent messages on paper. Then people invented new machines to communicate more quickly and easier. In 1876, Alexander Graham Bell invented the telephone. It transmits sound through wires. In 1895, Guglielmo Marconi invented the radio. It transmits sound with no wire. In 1926, John Logie Baird invented a way to transmit images and show them on the screen. It was the first television, but it only showed black and white images. Then 18 years later, inventors made a television that showed images in colors. Communication today is very different. We talk on cell phones and transmit sound with no wires. We can send messages, photos, and video. Many cell phones are also music players and they can connect to the internet. With modern television, we can receive programs with satellite. We can also watch DVDs. Some televisions are very big. Their television in Japan is 11 meters tall and 66 meters long. Discover some modern television can be almost as thin as a paper. Computers. People invented the first computer more than 60 years old. Those computers were very different from computers today. One of the first computers was called ENIAC. It was built in 1946. ENIAC was a big, heavy, so it's also expensive. It cost about $500,000. Over the next 40 years, computers became smaller and cheaper. From about 1980, people started using computer at home. Then 1989, Tim Berners-Lee invented the World Wide Web or the web. Computers today is very useful. You can see imagine or a miniature, that you can see a keyboard or type word on button to connect your internet or to Modern computers have also speakers so you can listen to music or watch movies. You need a printer to print documents and to play computer game. You need a joystick. What other thing can computer do? Big and small. With modern technology, we can build machines that are very big or very small. The cruise ship in Oasis of Seas is one of the world's largest passenger vehicles. It's 65 meters high and 360 meters long. It carries 5,400 passengers. It has restaurants, shops, cinemas, and 3 swimming pools. The Badger 288 is a milling machine. It's 86 meters high and 240 meters long. It's one of the world's heaviest land vehicles. It weighs 30,500 metric tons. Denso Miracle Car is one of the world's smallest machines. It's about 4.8 millimeters and long and 1.7 millimeters high. It's smaller than a finger and car can move, but its top speed is only 180 meters per hour. In the future, people will use micro machines like this repair other machines from the inside. Scientists want to build micro machines that nanobots will use the microscope to see them. Doctors will use them to help people who are sick. Nanobots will work inside their bodies. Okay, that's the end of the book. I hope you like it and don't forget to subscribe.